welcome back. I don't know exactly what to call this. This is my first, I guess, live streaming of a Nintendo Direct or any type of event. First time also being on camera, so this is a little different. This is kind of a makeshift setup, so if things go awry, I'll have to apologize here. But I thought we would start off this morning about a half an hour before the Direct starts and take a look and see exactly what we think will be at this Direct, and at the very least, if it's not at the Direct, this might be things that we see from Nintendo over the course of the next month or so, because you know Nintendo, they like to drip feed things, so they may not have all this stuff shown today, but we might see it in the coming week or month. So I just thought we'd go through now and just take a look at some various topics. Now, first of all, Nintendo did announce that there would be a Treehouse tomorrow and Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern. Now, the one I believe tomorrow is going to be 4 hours, and the one on Friday will be 3 hours. And so Nintendo tends to like to add some information there. So if things aren't revealed today at the 1 hour Direct, we might see that stuff in the coming days. So just keep that in mind. You'll want to watch that if you're interested. So let's go ahead and get into some of the things here. Now, I've already got the Direct up here, but it'll probably just go live all of a sudden and start playing, so I'll have to pause it or mute it whenever that happens. So I'll apologize. Actually, I probably could just go ahead and mute the browser. Let's see. Switch that to there, and then we'll come here and we'll just mute this site for right now. That way, oh, it actually looks like it has already started. Yeah, it's already got the progress bar, so they're already going. Okay, so there's no music ahead of time, so I'll just go ahead and unmute that. And let's get caught up here. So we're at the latest. I want the quality a little higher. I'll just do 720, should be fine. When the Direct does start, I'll go into a full screen mode, and you'll just have my image down at the bottom corner with the chat. So you'll be able to watch the whole thing in full screen if you want to stick around here with me and join in. So, okay, so let's now take a look at some of the predictions of things I might think could be at this Direct. So first of all, we have MouseCon. So, and there's the information about the Treehouse from Nintendo, April 3rd and 4th, 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern. So now we'll take a look at MouseCon. So this is from VGC. It says Switch 2 mouse controls look even more certain in Nintendo's latest video. So I guess this was yesterday when this was posted. Nintendo had posted on their Nintendo Today app in Japan that this image here that kind of shows a mouse orientation for the Joy-Cons, which we already kind of knew was there, because if you paid real close attention, we'll just kind of start back from now and work our way back in time. So you had the video first look of the Switch 2 where they showed the Joy-Cons and they kind of rotated around, and during that rotation you get an edge and you can see the optical sensor in there just like you would see in your mouse. And if you didn't know what that is, it's basically just a little high-res camera. That's how the optical mice work. There's actually programs you can use to pull the camera feed off of your mouse, but it's a low resolution, low frame rate. I guess higher quality mice probably have a higher frame rate, and that's how it determines that the mouse is moving around. But anyway, now that's sort of the, oh yeah, it's definitely there. Now there was already, the optical sensor was already being seen in some of the customs data that was shipping from Nintendo, or for Nintendo, through the various manufacturing facilities that was tracked down. So that was another reason why it was believed that there's going to be a mouse functionality in the Joy-Con. So that's pretty much the vast majority of information there. Let's see. Just this link further to credence that to a previous report that at least one of the new Joy-Con controllers has an optical sensor in it, similar to the one used by most optical mice. Now, I imagine both of them probably would make sense, because if you're left-handed, you'd probably want it on both Joy-Cons, even though the picture that they showed here is just the right Joy-Con. But Let's see if there's anything else here. Yeah, Nintendo really doesn't confirm anything else. So we'll move on to the next information of stuff we might be seeing at this direct, and that's going to be a microphone. So you can see this article here from Game Rant. This was during that presentation I mentioned. This looks like this was posted January 18th, so I think that's when Nintendo put that video up, and people were noticing that there was a hole next to the cartridge slot that seemed to look like it was a hole that you would typically see for a microphone. So that also was corroborated in the fact of that customs data that was being tracked, and how that showed microphone like an MIC, I think was the beginning of the part number. So that definitely looks like that's going to be in the Switch 2. Hey, let's see, Durburger, thanks for joining us today. If you have any questions about what you think might be going on with the Switch 2 and what we might see today, just drop it in the chat and I'll see if I can address it. So yeah, so it looks like we will definitely have a microphone in the new Switch 2, and that goes along with this C button thing that we'll get to here in a minute. At least I think it will. And imagine Nintendo's done weird things with microphones, especially if you go back to like the 3DS. I think I remember having to blow on it a lot for various little mini games. I think I can't remember all the games that did that, but you'd need to spin a windmill and you'd pull it up and blow on it and get it to spin. So yeah, Nintendo can be innovative and fun in some just simple things like that. Okay, so that's the microphone. Next, we'll take a look at the top USB-C port and what we think might be going on with that. So this is over from IGN. Of course, a lot of people covered this, so I just kind of picked articles that seem to have a better perspective on them. And it says Nintendo Switch 2 brings major quality of life upgrade with a second USB-C port. Of course, we're talking about that one that's on the top. You can see in the picture right here. And that's an obvious, okay, well, you can now use that to charge from the top. So if you were in tabletop mode on the current Switch, you could not plug that USB-C port into the bottom and have it sit there. In fact, I've made if you ever go to Thingiverse, I've made a 3D stand, 3D printed stand that you could put your Switch into, so that you could plug the power into it when it's on that stand. So a lot of accessories like that, because that's kind of an oversight I think from Nintendo, is the fact that, well, you can't charge this thing when it's in tabletop mode. So I think what's going to happen now is, obviously that's going to be used, but I find it interesting there's a flat spot on the top of that. Now it might be because it has more stability when you plug that in there, less likely for the cable to bend down. But I'm also wondering if it could be for accessories. And a lot of people think that there might be a camera accessory that could go in the top of this. And again, this is going to go back to that C button we'll get to in a minute. I've even seen renders of attaching a second screen and making like a Switch DS, Switch 2 DS with it. I don't know if we'll see something like that, because I think that'd be an awful expensive accessory. But I guess, a 1080p screen, not much electronics inside of it. You might get it for $100 or something. Nintendo could sell it for $99.99. Now that creates a barrier for developers to say, well, if I'm going to make a game for this accessory, how many of those accessories have sold? So I don't know if we'll see something like that, but we'll see. Let's see if there's anything else in this article. I don't think there is. Nintendo added a secondary USB-C port to the Switch 2. You might expect to see the console will use actual USB-C standards this time. Yeah, because that was an issue with the first Switch. People were getting some fried switches by using some non-standard, especially non-standard or non-Nintendo brand docks. I actually had one of those I had bought and used it for a while, and then there was a firmware update and it started frying switches, so I never plugged that thing back in. But it was nice to have a little portable dock if you were traveling. But I just ended up buying a better branded one that was labeled as for use with Switch. And 4K output, we'll get to that in a second. But yeah, I think that's a majority of that story there. So we'll take a look now over at the next topic, which is possible GameCube coming to the Switch 2. And we'll take a drink of my drink for a second. Oh, and of course I hit the microphone when I do it. Like I said, first time I've done this stream like this, so bear with me. So this article here from IGN says why new Nintendo filings are getting GameCube fans excited for Switch 2. And this stems back, there's a couple of things here. First of all, this stems back from the article they address here, which is an FCC filing. So that you have to have the FCC approve radio stuff, since a controller would be wireless. They've got to make sure it's not creating interference and all this type of stuff. So this is just a block diagram because they want to hide what the actual product is, because it's not officially been revealed. And they showed a label here. Well, that seemed to line up. People noticed where the label for the GameCube controller is in the design, because if it had been the Pro controller, it'd probably been right in the very center. So most people were thinking, okay, that's probably going to be GameCube. Now, to go along with this, and this wasn't in the article, again, going back to that customs data that's been followed. If you're following that, you know there's a lot of information there. But that customs data showed that there was a part number for like a GameCube. I believe it was the rumble motor. And I think there was a couple other parts, maybe the housing or something, that were showing up in the customs data. At the same time, and I think maybe even slightly before the Switch 2 stuff was coming. So that's not been revealed yet, a GameCube controller for the Switch. So my thinking is that we're going to see GameCube games coming to NSO. Now I think with that we're probably going to see, if not a third tier, at the very least a price increase on that expansion pack tier, because I don't think you're going to be able to just add GameCube games in here and it not get a price increase, because that's a pretty big jump from Nintendo 64 to GameCube. So I think we're going to see that. And I also wonder, there's been that twin pack of Wind Waker and Twilight Princess that's been out there for a while, and I think Nintendo's kind of been holding on to that. There's always a possibility they could put that in as part of this announcement here. It might be that they may offer it as like an HD version that's included with it, but it seems like they would probably want to offer it as a second game. But I get, you know, it might be kind of weird to put these two games out and then offer GameCube games as well. And people are like, well, why can't I just get it as part of the NSO subscription? I'm fine with playing the older version. I don't need this newer version. So that's why I have to wait and see what might happen there. Of course, that would fall under, I guess, just Wind Waker, because I don't believe, if I remember correctly, Twilight Princess only had a Wii version. So we'll see what happens. Okay, so we'll get on to the next one here, and that's going to be it's coming again from VGC. A Switch 2 patent suggests its Joy-Con controls can be rotated. So this was an interesting thing, and I remember seeing when this FCC filing came out that there's going to be the option of basically attaching the Joy-Con to either side of the system. So if you think about it, like if you have a pin out and your pins start like from where that connector is where the Joy-Cons will attach, and you start numbering 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you know, from the top down on this side, but you number from the bottom up on this side. If you switch it to the other side, the pinouts would line up. So that would very easily be able to do without like some special electronics in there to have to like switch what pin is being read for what. You just, you know, and then also it would allow you to flip the Swiss system over, and that would give you maybe a centered USB port on the bottom, on the top rather than the bottom. So if you did have that camera attachment that's been rumored, you could put that camera attachment on that center USB-C port that's now on the top because the system's flipped over. And so that's it being interesting. We already know that the Joy-Cons are magnetic, so I don't think there's anything surprising there. I don't think we'll get the inside details of how it will work. They may show the Joy-Cons using the magnet maybe in some games. I've heard that being rumored, that they might be able to pick stuff up with it and detect that it's picked up, but I'm not as sure on that one. So okay, we'll keep moving along here. The next is that C button. Rumored Switch 2 C button is for campus, but not quite the next Miiverse. So this is from Game Ranks. I'm not as familiar with them, but I wanted to go ahead and use their site because I thought that they covered this really well. And so this goes back to that mystery C button, and that's been sort of an enigma here for people. And what does it do? Is it the latest rumor thing that came out end of last week was that it was going to be some kind of connect button to use your use your old Switch as a controller. It seems weird to me that you'd put that on a button to connect a system. It seems like you just would pair it like you would a controller, so that one never really held water to me, but this campus thing does. And so this started off, there was a post on a Discord. Let's see if I can find where this is at here. And it was originally shared on Gaming Leaks and Rumors subreddit, and this comes from Discord. I can't remember now exactly which Discord it was, but it led some validity to some data miners. And it says data mines of the current Switch OS and exclusive SDK leaks have confirmed that the Nintendo Switch 2 will have a group chat and voice chat function codenamed Campus. This is what the C button may be used for, and they say they're 99.99 or 99.99. I don't know if it's a typo or maybe different regions use that, I'm not sure, but almost 100% sure. Groups will support up to 12 NSO subscribers, and there will be screen sharing, and it will be nothing like Miiverse. And then we had, this was just this week, LIC over on Famaboards is another data miner, also came up with the same thing. So that makes that, you know, I'm kind of surprised because this original post I think was back in January about this part up in here. So I'm surprised it's kind of fallen to the wayside and people haven't really latched onto that. But to me, this seems the most probable thing. And again, it's not going to be a Miiverse from what they describe here, but I imagine it might be used within games. I could see, like, if you're playing Mario Kart 9 or whatever they end up calling it, you can hit this button and maybe bring up a video chat or something while you're playing. So we'll see how this is, but this to me seems the big mystery behind the C button. I'll be real interested to see how that plays out. I think they have to reveal that because yesterday Nintendo on their Nintendo Today app put a little teaser showing that C button and zooming in and clicking, and you get a sound, a specific sound, not just a generic, but a specific sound when you hit it. So I think it's going to be very integral in cooperation in games, and I'm definitely interested to see how that turns out. Okay, we got about 13 more minutes until the direct starts. Well, 12 minutes now to switch, so we'll go into this next one. This is from IGN. Following the Switch 2 reveal, Phil Spencer says Microsoft is really looking forward to supporting Nintendo with Xbox games. Oh, sorry, I'm slamming my mouse around. So I think this is going to be a high third-party presence at this Direct, and this Direct is going to be for an hour. So Nintendo, even with the first Switch, of course they needed to because the Wii U did not have a lot of third-party support by the end of its 3.5-year run, whatever it was. They're really going to emphasize what is going to be available on with third parties. Who's supporting it? We'll most likely see a game or two announced from a third party, so mostly like some ports of things that are current gen. I'd love to see like Final Fantasy 7 Remake and Rebirth get announced. I don't know if that'll happen, but some huge rumors right now that oh gosh, the name of the game just left me. It'll come in a second, but there's another big huge rumor of games that'll be coming. But I would not even be surprised to see if, especially with Microsoft moving more towards supporting their software and trying to get it everywhere versus just supporting it on Microsoft's hardware. I think you could, I don't know if we'll see Phil Spencer there, but I wouldn't be surprised if we have a dedicated like Microsoft section in it, but we'll see how that goes. There's been rumors of what's going to be there. A number of games reported coming to Switch 2, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, Halo Master Chief Collection. So whether those get announced or seen today, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, but I think we'll definitely see some emphasis on third parties. So I think that was about it. Okay, so the next thing we got here from The Verge, Nintendo's digital lending feature reveals Switch 2 edition games are on the way. So this came from that Nintendo Direct last week where they revealed this virtual cartridge where you could virtually eject your cartridge and virtually insert it into a different system to be able to share your digital library across multiple devices, or even people that are on your family plan. So one thing that people noticed during this is that there was some fine print in this announcement, and it says right here, compatible systems must be linked to a Nintendo account to use virtual game cards. Nintendo Switch 2 exclusive games and Nintendo Switch 2 edition games can only be loaded on a Nintendo Switch 2 system. Obviously, you can't put Switch 2 games on a Switch 1, but this inclusion now of Nintendo Switch 2 edition games got a lot of people interested to say, so we may be seeing a lot of cross-platform games, which is no surprise to me because like we're seeing that now with Xbox, we're seeing that now with PlayStation. We're still getting games. Like I'm waiting for the Lunar trilogy, or not trilogy, collection to come out, and I think April 18th. And like it's a PS4 version. It's not a PS5 version, you know. So I think we'll continue to see Switch games have both editions. Now, what'll be interesting is if they'll have an upgrade path, like say Xbox did or like PlayStation did. With Xbox, it's just you buy the edition and you get both. But with PlayStation, you got an upcharge, and I could see Nintendo being more the upcharge type. So if they do come out with a say Switch 2 edition of The Legend of Zelda, either Twilight Princess or the first one, have a upgrade version that you're gonna have to pay $10 for. So we'll see how that goes. You could buy maybe the full thing complete, or you just have a upgraded version that you get. So that's definitely got me interested to see how that turns out. Let's see. I'm trying to see if there's anything else related to that. Of course, we do know backward compatibility is going to be a thing, and we'll get to some of that here in just a second. All right, here. Nintendo Switch 2 backward compatibility guide. What Switch games can't be played? So there was a caveat when Nintendo announced, I think it was back in November, that it could even be in October. Actually, I think it was late October, that the Switch 2 would be backward compatible, or their Switch successor at the time would be backward compatible with the current Switch. And of course, they got that out there to encourage people, yeah, go ahead and buy games this Christmas season. You'll be able to play it on that next system. So, but you're right. There are people realizing that, and I think there was a caveat, there were some games that might not be supported. So, and I like this article here from Nintendo Life. They kind of break down Switch 2 compatible, Switch games compatible with Switch 2. I go through a bunch here, but what's more interesting is what's not going to be compatible. A lot of those are ones that require specific accessories. So they mention things like anything to do with Labo. you're not going to be able to physically put that Switch 2 into the Labo hardware. It's going to be bigger, so it's not going to fit. You've also got Ring Fit Adventure, where you have to put the Joy-Con into the little exercise ring. Now, if the Switch 2 can use the current gen Joy-Cons, even though they won't physically attach, but you can still use them as controllers, and that would still work. So I think that's kind of a wait and see thing. Also, they mentioned these games that require the IR sensor, which is not going to be available, it appears, on the Switch 2. So far in all the customs data, nobody's found any IR sensors, so it's looking like more than likely there's not going to be an IR sensor in the Switch 2. I think they found out they just really didn't use it that much in the current Switch. So, but then they go through some other Labo functional games, and we'll go ahead and get to the next topic. We got about 5 minutes left, and I got 4 more to hit. So we've got exclusive. This is from Tom Henderson at Insider Gaming. US retailer documents shed light on Nintendo Switch 2 pre-order plans. So this is an interesting thing because it's changed a couple of times. So originally Best Buy Canada had put out a post saying that they would be taking pre-orders on April 2nd, today, basically. And then they took that down. I think they put up a post saying that it was just coming soon. Well, according to Tom Henderson, they got a hold of some documents from it says right here, according to documents from US retailer, pre-orders are set to go live on April 9th, 1 week after the Switch 2 Direct. Documents include a messaging strategy following the Direct to include pre-order coming soon, messaging, and a countdown clock that will end on April 9th with the exact time to be confirmed by Nintendo on April 2nd. So it's up in the air. I hope pre-orders go live today, but it looks like we may have a week wait now. So, and that was the last thing that came out, was that it's going to be April 9th. So we'll move on to the next topic here. And this is from the Gaming Leaks and Rumors, and because this just came out yesterday, so there's not a lot of articles written about it yet. It says Switch 2 dock uses a Realtek, and I'm going to read the part number, DisplayPort 1.4 to HDMI 2.1 protocol converter, which supports 4K 60. This is the interesting. This is the Switch 2 dock. So the rumor here is that the dock itself will have the 4K upscaling. So the Switch 2 will only do 1080p. That's what screen's supposed to be in. It is a 1080p screen, and that it's going to then move to having a upscaling being done in the dock. Now, I would hope that wouldn't add a lot of latency. Hopefully, they've got this down to single-digit milliseconds. But yeah, that's my only hesitancy with this. Okay. Next thing is AI upscaling. AI upscaling on Nintendo Switch 2 is basically real thanks to updated patent. And I just realized I didn't get my earbuds on before I started this when we start the Direct, so let me go ahead and get those in real quick before I forget. I don't know which one it is. That way I don't get a bad echo. Let me go ahead and get those. I probably have to do both of them at once. Give me a second. This is a professional show, by the way. Okay, I am connected, so that should be good. So weird hearing myself now with these earbuds in, but okay. So AI upscaling. So there's a patent that came out. I want to say, okay, this has March 13th. I've actually seen this earlier, but it just became public, I think, on the I think it got updated on the 13th, but people finally picked up that within it showed some AI upscaling of an image, and this kind of shows a flow. There was a better image, but I couldn't find it anywhere that showed like two different pictures side by side and how it upscaled it. So this kind of goes along. Let me go back to my notes here. Let's see. Yeah, something kind of like DLSS. So we'll see. That might not even be talked about today. Nintendo tends to not put a lot of emphasis on that type of stuff in these events. Okay, got 1 minute. FCC documents show headphone jack for Nintendo Switch 2 Pro controller. So this came out just a couple of days ago, and you could see in this FCC document that the game controller data here, it shows earphone jacks and a model number. Apparently these belong to Sony. You can see it on the manufacturing column. So that leads everybody to believe it's going to have headphone jacks. Oh, and we're getting ready to start. That was pretty much everything. The last thing I have, price, I'm thinking $400. Maybe $450, but my bet's probably $400. $450, I won't be disappointed. And then finally, release date. I'm picking June 12th because that's going to be the a Thursday, which Nintendo has liked to do recently. Okay, let's get moved into the next layout. Let's see. Switch to here. Alrighty. Gotta get my notes here. I'm gonna try to take notes during this. I'll probably have my microphone muted some of the time, but I'll try to give my comments and thoughts as we go through. And we'll turn the direct up a little bit. Oh, this must be a whole new Nintendo Direct logo. Switch to. We're gonna go right into the games. Oh, Mario Kart. There's the gas station everybody thinks is going to be used as a pit stop.
Let's go!
Everyone is here. Front flips. It's obviously the jumps, yeah. Like a Mario Kart, or Mario Kart 8. There's multiple paths. Oh, water boats. Looks like Bowser's Castle. Oh, you could ride the rails. Oh, you could jump off walls. Oh, little carrier trucks you can get in. And food. Gliders, that might just be them to jump. Mario Kart World. That's perfect. I couldn't think of a better thing to call that. You have like Mario World.
Hello everyone, I'm Koichi Kawamoto, and I'll be one of your guides for today's Nintendo Direct. I'm the producer for Nintendo Switch 2.
I'm Takuhiro Dota, the director for Nintendo Switch 2.
And I'm Tetsuya Sasaki, the hardware design lead for Nintendo Switch 2.
What you just saw was Mario Kart World, launching exclusively on Nintendo Switch 2. Now, what do you think this brand new Mario Kart game will be like?
A brand new entry in the Mario Kart series is launching exclusively on the Nintendo Switch 2 system.
I do think it's interesting. They start right with the games, not the system.
Kart races are held throughout various regions that span the globe. Depending on the time of day and weather conditions, the atmosphere will change. And in this Mario Kart game, you can go off the racetrack and drive virtually everywhere in this world.
Imagine
In the
that to be
classic
checkpoints,
Grand Prix,
though.
race through 4 courses in a bid for first place. But don't sleep at the wheel. You'll also drive to the next course as part of the competition. With 24 drivers in each race, the most in series history, the competition is gearing up.
So definitely more like an open world thing if you're gonna drive anywhere.
Introducing Knockout Tour. Race non-stop from one corner of the world to another. There are multiple checkpoints along the way. If you're below the placement shown when you hit a checkpoint, you'll be eliminated. Can you make it all the way to the finish line? You can also freely drive around this vast world in free roam. By going off-road, you can explore new areas and routes. So drive wherever your heart takes you. You can also go for scenic drives with friends, and even take photos together at different locations. A brand new race across the entire world starts here. Mario Kart World! The game launches on the same day as Nintendo Switch 2. More
Mario
details
Kart
about
World
this
Direct
title
on the
will be
17th.
shared in an upcoming Mario Kart World Direct. So be on the lookout for more information in the future.
Mario Kart World launches on the same day as Nintendo Switch 2. We'll share more details in the future, so we hope you're looking forward to it.
So they're hiding that release date. Are we gonna get it?
Next, we'd like to introduce some of the new features of Nintendo Switch 2. These are the Joy-Con 2 controllers for Switch 2. And on the right Joy-Con 2, we've added a new C button. Let's take a look at some new experiences it offers.
Okay, here comes the C button.
I'm still ahead of all of you guys. Woo!
Yep, together.
That was you.
That's the voice chat.
Oh, no. Wait, no.
Nix, I'm coming for you.
No, I'm about to get
Come on, no.
Oh.
Introducing Game Chat, a new feature for Nintendo
chat.
Switch 2.
Hey, what's up? Can you hear me? Hello?
Hi, missed you.
With this feature, you'll be able to communicate with friends and family while playing a game.
Should we follow you? Yeah?
Yeah, follow me.
Okay.
For an adventure.
While
Yep,
using
there's
the
the
Game
microphone.
Chat feature, your voice is recognized by a microphone built into the system.
Oh, okay. But you're still behind me, right? All right, let's keep going. Okay. So,
It can pick up your
jump
speaking
here,
voice
jump here.
clearly, even from a distance.
Look at this. Jump on here. All right, let's keep going. Let's make a left
noise
right here. Let's make a
canceling.
When it's noisy around you, your voice will still come through clearly, letting you chat with ease.
How did you get hit by a boat? Okay, nice.
It does look beautiful. It's all pink.
And you can use this feature in handheld mode too, letting you easily chat with friends and family. If you open the chat menu and turn on game screen sharing,
Good job, good job. There we go, there we go.
you can also share your game screen.
Did you see someone just like go on top of that dinosaur?
Really? They can do that?
Can do it? You guys, I just did it.
Oh, I want to do it too.
Oh, shoot. Oh, ooh. Oh, he's trying to eat me. He's trying to eat me.
Okay, I got it. I got it.
Oh, no.
Yay!
Okay. You can chat to your heart's content, even while playing different games.
Yeah, I know that one. It's so hard, right? It's tough.
Oh, wow. I'm like
Rip
in the
the,
sky right
voice
here.
chat
Ah,
app on
I'm falling. Oh, yeah, we got it. We're safe.
Kirby, look, you're on a star.
That's so cute.
So cute.
You can adjust the size of your game screen.
Guys, I'm lost. Like,
It's cool because you have little thumbnails down there of everybody playing.
Or expand another friend's game screen.
You gotta get above that wall that's to your left.
You're almost there,
It's just like the wall. Like if she gets past the wall.
this is where I have to do a little wall ride.
I hate that it looks like it's
So
only like
everyone can watch them
5 frames
play.
per second, but
I think I know where you are. I think I know
keep
where you
the
are.
overhead down, I guess.
Hey guys, we're together. Welcome.
Ooh, okay.
Hey, so you have 4-player split
Let's
screen
take a
now
picture
for
here.
Mario Kart, so you can peek and see what everybody else is, and if they're
Oh, yo,
just like when they were
On
seeing
the
if they're
right
coming up
Joy-Con
behind
2
you.
controller, there's an additional button. With the seat button, you can pull up a chat menu.
Oh, dang.
Oh, really? Wait, actually, guys, I got a call coming right now, so I'll be right back. Yeah.
Okay. Sure.
Here,
You
you
notice
can
the video
quickly
icon?
and easily mute yourself and more. And there's this.
Yep, there's a camera.
By connecting this camera to the system,
Hey!
Hey, what's up? Hello. Yo. Yeah.
Hi, how's everyone doing? Good?
you can appear on screen and video chat while playing a game.
Your face is on here.
Wait, Nick, how was your test yesterday?
It was good.
No.
Here's how it looks with just the camera feed.
I'm way behind,
There
guys.
you go. I bet you like
Can
that.
you wait for me?
Please look forward to games which use your camera feed like this.
That was good.
Okay.
Now that camera
wait,
didn't
wait,
look like it
wait,
could
wait,
mount
wait,
on the
wait,
Switch,
wait,
but
okay,
it could be an adapter for it.
Using Game Chat. Even when you're apart, you can play games and hang out as if you were together in the same room. Play together or compete in online multiplayer games. Chat while playing your personal favorites. Decide your own rules for a retro game competition. Or hold a sports competition between families. All together, anytime, anywhere. Game Chat.
So they're just going
What
to
did
call
you
it Game
think?
Chat.
In developing Game Chat, our goal was for you to enjoy playing online with others more closely, including family and friends. Almost as if you're all playing together in the same place. The camera you saw in the trailer is the Nintendo Switch 2 camera, which will be available on the same day as Switch 2.
Yep. They're not going to give us that
A
release
Nintendo
date.
Switch Online membership will be required to use Game Chat. However, since we'd like as many people as possible to experience Game Chat, it will be available without a membership for a limited time. We hope you'll try it out.
Well, we know it's going to release before.
Additionally, Game Chat supports the Nintendo
March
Switch
31st.
Parental Controls app, and different settings can be adjusted. For example, whether parental permission is always required when a child wants to use Game Chat to play with their friends.
Basically, the
We'd
less
like to
than the first
introduce
year.
another new experience you can share with family and friends. On Nintendo Switch, even if you just have one game, you can pass a Joy-Con controller to a friend and play together. But on Nintendo Switch 2, you can play together locally on multiple systems using just one game, with GameShare. As shown here, even games that require multiple screens can be played if one person owns a compatible game. With GameShare, you can temporarily share compatible games with others who also have Nintendo Switch 2 or a Nintendo Switch system.
It's kind of
You
like
can share a
DS
game
had.
with up to 3 other systems at a time. GameShare also supports online play with other Switch 2 systems, and you can use it with friends via Game Chat, which we showed earlier. GameShare can only be used with compatible games. This feature is planned for several titles, starting with a free update for Clubhouse Games 51 Worldwide Classics on Nintendo Switch. GameShare support is also planned for select games exclusive to Nintendo Switch 2, so we hope you'll look forward to it.
Up next, we'd like to show you the Nintendo Switch 2 system itself.
Please
Okay,
take a
now we'll
look.
move on to the hardware.
At 7.9 inches, Switch 2 has a bigger built-in screen. Here's how that compares to Nintendo Switch. The system's thickness remains the same. With approximately double the pixels compared to Switch, you can enjoy games in greater detail on the 1080p screen.
Okay, yep, 1080p.
The screen supports up to 120 frames per second, allowing for smoother gameplay in supported titles.
I'm surprised at that. I thought it would be only 60.
The LCD screen is more vivid and supports HDR, providing more contrast between light and dark areas of the images.
Yep,
the all-new Joy-Con 2 controllers connect magnetically. Strong magnets keep the controllers firmly attached to the system. Detach a controller easily by pressing the release button on the back.
Okay, release button's what they're calling that.
The SL and SR buttons are bigger for greater comfort and control when playing with a Joy-Con 2 held horizontally. The left and right sticks are now larger.
Mouse controls,
Each Joy-Con 2 controller can be used as a mouse to play with compatible games. Both the left and right Joy-Con 2 support mouse controls.
Yep.
By adjusting the audio balance between the ranges, sounds from the built-in speakers are clearer and more natural in handheld and tabletop modes. It has a built-in microphone, so you can voice chat with friends anytime via Game Chat. It also uses noise-canceling technology to filter sounds, so your voice will come through clearly. Even if you don't have a surround sound system, games can be enjoyed with more immersive, three-dimensional sound, as if it were coming from all around you.
Okay, I'd be curious to know. Nintendo's notoriously not had very good audio on their hardware. They're not supporting some of the different surround sound standards.
Place your Nintendo Switch 2 however you like with a large, sturdy stand. You can move it freely, like this. In addition to the USB-C port found on the bottom of the system, there's one on top as well. It's handy for connecting a USB-C camera or charging in tabletop mode. Nintendo Switch 2 comes with 256 gigabytes of internal storage, 8 times that of Nintendo Switch, for storing your game downloads, save data, and more. Reading and writing data is also faster.
4K support.
Use the Nintendo Switch 2 dock to connect to your TV and enable up to 4K resolution for compatible games. HDR is also supported in TV mode. The Nintendo Switch 2 dock has a built-in fan that keeps your system cool. This helps keep performance stable. On Nintendo Switch 2, you can play Nintendo Switch 2 games as well as compatible Nintendo Switch games. Physical and digital games are supported.
Sorry, I don't mean to keep slapping my mic when I put my drink back.
As you just saw, Nintendo Switch 2 isn't simply an improved Nintendo Switch. We redesigned the system from the ground up and packed in lots of new gameplay features. And to help players better understand the Switch 2 hardware, we're currently developing this game. Mr. Kawamoto!
Hello. My current location is actually inside the game itself. This is Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour, exclusive to Nintendo Switch 2. I'm standing over here. Okay, everyone, join me inside the game.
It sounds like
There
this will
are
be
a lot of
built-in
question
little
mark icons here.
mini game thing.
Let's examine them. This sign reads, "Where are the magnets?" The Joy-Con 2 controllers attach to the system with magnets. And those magnets are inside the system.
Okay.
The SL and SR buttons on
They're
the
not in
Joy-Con
the-
2 are made of metal,
Okay. So the
so
magnets
that's how
are not
they
in the
attach to
Joy-Con.
the system. A magnetic circuit is formed between them, so they won't easily detach. Through examining signs like these, you can discover all sorts of secrets about Nintendo Switch 2. Another example, the Joy-Con 2 controllers have mouse controls.
I wonder if this
And
will be
when combined
available
with
on
the
Switch.
gyroscopes, you can even do something like this. You can adjust the position of the golf club and aim for the cup by rotating the Joy-Con 2. By combining the mouse controls and gyroscopes, things like this are possible. There are secrets to discover even as you're playing minigames and tech demos. Some of the secrets range from the unique features of the system to tiny details you might not notice until they're pointed out. There are
Okay,
plenty.
so it definitely will not be on the Switch because you can't actually do
Nintendo
those
Switch
things.
2 Welcome Tour will launch as a paid digital game on the same day as
Really?
Nintendo Switch 2. So please check it out if you're interested.
Now,
That should have been
I'd like to
free.
share some more information regarding Nintendo Switch 2. This is the game card for Nintendo Switch 2 titles.
Okay.
It's
Looks
the
the
same
same.
shape as Nintendo Switch game cards, but it's now red and it has much faster data reading speeds. Next up is additional
Yep,
storage.
micro SD Express.
Switch 2 will only work with micro SD Express cards. They're a different type of SD card and will make high-speed data transfers possible.
Those will get going off Amazon real fast. There's only a
Please
256
note,
now
the
available.
regular micro
from
SD
SanDisk.
cards used for Nintendo Switch will not be compatible.
I think it's about $60 for the
Additionally, to
256
transfer
right now.
data from Switch to Switch 2, you can log into your Nintendo account to use the System Transfer feature. With this feature, you can transfer save data, digital games, and more. We're also releasing a new
Oh, there's the Pro Controller. With the
It
C
has a
button.
C button, which launches Game Chat, and on the back, there are new GL and GR buttons, which you can use
Yep.
to assign existing button controls. In addition, an audio jack has been added. We've
that's
introduced
what we
a
just
few
looked at.
new features, and after today's presentation, the official Nintendo Switch 2 website will go live. There will also be an Ask the Developer article on the website, where the three
Let
of
me look
us
for
will
that
talk
after
about
this.
the development of Nintendo Switch 2. We hope you'll check that out as well.
And now, the Nintendo Switch 2 launch date.
Oh, here we go.
Nintendo Switch 2 launches on June 5th. We're very
earlier than I
much
thought.
looking forward to the day when you all get to experience it, so please wait just a bit longer.
What day is that?
Now,
The day of the week.
broadly speaking, on Nintendo Switch 2, you can play 3 types of games.
It's a Thursday. That's what I thought they would do.
The first type is Nintendo Switch 2 games. These games take advantage of the performance and features of Switch 2. The second type is compatible games that were released on Nintendo Switch. Nintendo Switch 2 Edition games are the third type. Some games that were released on Switch will receive upgraded versions that offer things like improved visuals, unique ways to play on Switch 2, and more. Now, I'd like to show you the Nintendo Switch 2 edition of Super Mario Party Jamboree. Please take a look.
Super Mario Party Jamboree is getting an upgrade on Nintendo Switch 2. The upgrade expands on the base game and adds new features, including
Okay, so they'll put new features to
mouse
charge.
controls, audio recognition, more expressive rumble, and gameplay that uses a camera accessory, all of which can be accessed on Switch 2. Let's check out 3 new and updated modes. First up is Mario Party mode. With a single camera, up to 4 players can join the festivities. You'll
Oh,
be
a
able
single
to see
camera.
each other's faces as you play, so you can
Okay.
experience all the
locks
reactions
in on the
and emotions
faces.
in real time. Or 4 friends can take the party online. Up next, it's Bowser Live, a mode where the livelier team wins. Bowser will bring you on stage to hit blocks to collect the most coins, guide an RC car with your voice, go, and compete in other mini-games using full body movement and sound. Finally, take a ride on the mouse-controlled carnival coaster. With the safety bar lowered and secured, you're off. Use mouse controls to shoot down enemies while you feel the bumps and rumbles of the coaster.
Hopefully you can just use gyro if you don't want to use
When
mouse.
you enter a pipe, a mini-game will begin. There's a bouldering game where 2 players each control an arm, and one where you shake a can of spray paint and quickly tag objects. Enjoy the thrill of these intuitive mini-games. How quickly can you reach the station? From mini-games that use a camera, the built-in microphone, mouse controls, and rumble, the biggest party yet is getting even bigger. Super Mario Party Jamboree, Nintendo Switch 2 Edition, plus Jamboree TV launches on Nintendo Switch 2, July 24th. Nintendo Switch 2 players who already own Super Mario Party Jamboree can upgrade to Nintendo Switch 2 Edition plus Jamboree TV by purchasing an upgrade pack.
No cost though.
Please look forward to a new Mario Party experience, where you can see each other's reactions while playing. Let's continue presenting some more Nintendo Switch 2 Edition games.
Yep. Breath of the Wild.
Nintendo
Oh,
Switch
and
2
Tears of the
editions of The
Kingdom.
Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom feature enhanced resolution and frame rates, and also support HDR, which makes the image more vibrant, so you can play with smoother, higher definition graphics.
Are they going to
Plus,
add new content?
You can get even more out of your adventures in Hyrule using Zelda Notes. This new feature can be accessed via the Nintendo Switch app on smart devices. It's a game-specific service that's exclusive to the Switch 2 editions of these titles. For example, it can help guide you to various locations, like shrines and Koroks you haven't found yet.
Guidance activating. Proceed north.
Or you can share your creations using QR codes and send them to another player to create in their game.
Oh, that's cool. I can see a whole website being set up around those.
We hope
Or
these features will make
a
your
social
adventures
media
even
group or
more
something.
enjoyable.
Okay, Kirby.
In Kirby and the Forgotten Land, you'll be able to enjoy an additional story exclusive to the Nintendo Switch 2 edition, along with improved graphics and frame rates. This story takes place in the Forgotten Land after being struck by a powerful meteor that's causing some mysterious changes. We hope you're looking forward to Kirby's new adventure.
So we'll get Pokemon that can achieve 30 frames per
Metroid
second.
Prime 4 Beyond will have
Yep,
both a
there we go.
Nintendo Switch and a Nintendo Switch 2 edition.
But
In
two
addition
different
to
editions.
standard controls, you can use mouse controls for intuitive gameplay on Switch 2. Plus, you can explore the immersive world in
Ooh,
4K
nice.
at 60 frames per second, or enjoy smoother action in Full HD at 120 frames per second.
So performance
Choose from these
quality
two
mode.
modes, both of which support HDR, based on your preference and playstyle. Plus, Pokémon Legends ZA,
Yep.
which is scheduled to launch later this year, will not only receive a Nintendo Switch version, but a Nintendo Switch 2 edition as well. By taking advantage of the power of Switch 2, you can enjoy your adventure in Lumio City with enhanced resolution and frame rates. The Nintendo Switch 2 Edition games you just saw will be available as both physical and digital versions. And if you already own the Nintendo Switch version of a game, you can play the Nintendo Switch 2 Edition by purchasing an upgrade pack.
Okay, so
We hope you're looking forward
pack.
to these Nintendo Switch 2 Edition games.
Next, I'd like to introduce a brand new game featuring mouse controls with the Joy-Con 2 controllers. Please take a look.
This is a new game. What is this called? DJ Snazzy Mario. I don't know. Drag and drive. Online membership needed. Yeah, not sports games aren't really my thing, but it's interesting looking. Probably not a day one buy for me. I thought at first when they had that music and the Joy-Cons were going that it would be like some type of DJ game.
In Drag and Drive, you'll use both Joy-Con 2 controllers as mice to intuitively pull off various moves. We hope you're looking forward to a new twist on 3-on-3 matches using dual mouse controls.
That seems kind of
Next,
gimmicky.
here are some games from our publishing and development partners coming to Nintendo Switch 2.
Okay, yeah, here comes third party.
I have long observed the lands
Witcher.
between.
No, we already have Witcher 3.
This world is in dire need of repair.
Elden Ring, yeah.
You can see them, can't you? The rays of grace.
I've still got Elden Ring, but haven't played it yet.
Through your burden. I have no doubt you will become Elden Lord. May you take the throne.
Tarnished Edition.
Hey, I'm Greg Kasavin from Supergiant Games, here to say that Hades 2 is coming to Nintendo Switch 2. Our first ever sequel introduces the Princess of the Dead, an immortal witch out to vanquish the sinister Titan of Time.
We're gonna see
You'll
Silk
battle
Song.
beyond the underworld to the ends of the earth, getting to know dozens of characters from Greek myth in a story that reacts to your every setback and victory. It's the kind of game you can quickly pick up and play whether you're experienced with the original or not. Look for more about Hades 2 later this year.
皆さんこんにちは、カプコンの中山です。我々がお届けするタイトルはストリートファイター6です。
Okay, Street Fighter 6.
本体を持ち寄っての対戦はもちろん、任天堂スイッチ2だけの新モードもあります。ソフトは通常版の他に総勢26キャラクターを収録した Years 1-2 Fighters Edition の2バージョンを、さらにゲームと連動するアミーボとアミーボカードも一緒にスイッチ2の発売日にお届けします。お楽しみに。
Initiating Arsenal boot sequence. Weapon safety mechanism confirmed. All operating at normal levels. Testing data link with spine. Normal. Commencing launch.
After 2 long wars where our freedom was restricted, we will finally be liberated from humans.
I'm in need of a new arsenal, new equipment, and money. I'm for sale, and you're buying.
Rebels!
Thanks for the warm welcome! This planet will be ours.
The Sovereign Axiom, the Trinitas, has almost completed a weapon that was created to destroy all humanity.
No! Because we're in the middle of a war. Don't you get it?
I won't just stop you. I'll tear you apart! All children bring hope to our lives, don't they?
September 5th.
Hey, this is Joseph Forrest from Hazelight. I'm super excited for Split Fiction to come to Nintendo Switch 2. The game is a story about friendship. You play as Mio, who writes sci-fi, and Zoe, who writes fantasy. Together, they get trapped in their own stories, and it's up to you and a friend to help them break free. Now, let me tell you this, if you like It Takes Two, you're gonna love this one, trust me. And of course, you'll be able to play Split Fiction on the day Switch 2 launches.
At EA Sports, we're bringing fans together across the world, both on the pitch and on the gridiron. We're excited to announce that EA Sports FC will be coming to Nintendo Switch 2. Madden NFL will also be arriving on the Nintendo platform. EA Sports, it's in the game.
Hi, I'm Alan Tu from Avalanche Software. We are bringing Hogwarts Legacy to Nintendo Switch 2.
You already did.
With enhanced graphics and seamless world transitions, you'll be immersed in the Wizarding World like never before. And the new mouse controls on Switch 2 give you even more ways to experience the adventure.
It definitely looks a lot
Discover
better
the
than the Switch
enhanced
version.
magic when Hogwarts Legacy launches on the same day as Switch 2.
Captain, is that mic supposed to be on? Son of a...
Cruise ship Tony Hawk. She missed the 3 and 4. Okay.
Hello, this is Christian Elverdam from IO Interactive. We are bringing our flagship title, Hitman World of Assassination, to Nintendo Switch 2. As the best assassin in the trade, Agent 47 does everything he can to accomplish his mission. And how each mission progresses will vary depending on the player's imagination. Our ever-expanding game will release on the same day as Switch 2. Plus, we are excited to bring another familiar agent to the platform.
GoldenEye.
James Bond. The world's favorite spy is coming to Nintendo Switch 2, so stay tuned.
Here we
The
go.
story of light and
Offensive
shadow
line.
that never fades is reborn. Bravely Default returns,
Oh no, Bravely
remastered in
Default.
high definition. Featuring
Good,
the
I really
Bravely
wanted
Default
that.
commands that help you control the flow of turn-based battles. Change and customize jobs to build
Like
out
the
your
second
very
one.
own party. Enjoy your adventure with upgraded features and enhancements. And all new minigames with unique ways to play. Square Enix presents the classic fantasy RPG, Bravely Default Flying Fairy HD Remaster. Set foot in Luxembourg as a warrior of light once more.
セガ龍が如くスタジオ代表の横山です。我々がお送りするタイトルは龍が如くゼロ光の場所ディレクターズカットです。1988年東京と大阪2つの歓楽街を舞台に土地を巡る争奪戦が勃発。伝説の始まりを追加シーンとともにお楽しみください。発売日は Nintendo Switch 2の発売と同じ日です。今後のシリーズ展開にもぜひご期待ください。
We'll have more games to show from our publishing and development
I
partners.
might have to pick that one up and
but
play
for
back
now,
through it.
we'd like to show a game being developed in collaboration with Nintendo. Please take a look.
Audio's lagging. I don't know if that's on my end or their end.
When the Zonai, who descended from the heavens,
So it's a Zelda
joined hands with the Hylians,
collab.
who dwelled on the surface.
I'm gonna
Their
refresh this real
union
quick.
led to a great and prosperous kingdom.
See if it's me or them.
But in time, a terrible evil arose. A war was fought to vanquish this evil, one which future generations would call the Imprisoning War.
This
Perhaps
is another Hyrule
you
Warriors.
truly have traveled back in time.
So that's Hyrule Castle? Then
Oh,
that
prequel to
must
Tears of the
mean this
Kingdom.
really is the past.
Yep, it's a Warriors game. My thumbs are hurting already, but I'm still gonna have to play it. Age of Imprisonment. Let's see. Okay, so this winter.
That was Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. It's being developed by Koei Tecmo Games with support from Nintendo. We hope you're looking forward to the untold story of the Imprisoning War, which took place in Hyrule long ago.
And now, some news about Nintendo Switch Online. You can continue to enjoy Nintendo Switch Online on Switch 2. And with Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pack, you can enjoy a new membership benefit exclusively on Switch 2. Please take a look at this.
Yes! Called it. GameCube.
Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pack will be getting a new classic game library exclusive to Nintendo Switch 2.
I'll definitely have to
Nintendo
grab that
GameCube,
controller.
originally released in 2001.
Although I
Here
think
are
I
the
got
titles that
3
will be
third-party
available at
ones.
launch. A Legend
Wind
of Zelda
Waker, yep.
game that looks like a cartoon come to life through cell shading. Controlling the wind using a mysterious baton, Link sets sail on an adventure across the Great Sea. The Legend of Zelda, The Wind Waker. Transcending
Caliber,
history
nice.
and the world. A tale of souls and swords eternally retold. In this
I spent a lot of
3D,
time playing as Link on
weapons-based
that,
fighting
throwing-
game, each fighter
throwing
comes
people
equipped
out of
with a
the
different
ring.
weapon. And Link from the Legend of Zelda series enters the fray.
You just back up and then
Soul
grab him and throw him
Calibur
out the
2.
ring.
Experience a world of white knuckle racing at speeds over 2,000 kilometers per hour.
I just played that
30
recently.
machines will put it all on the line in death-defying races. Featuring the series' first machine customization and story mode, get ready to experience F-Zero GX. In games that support multiplayer, up to 4 can play together locally or online.
Ah, okay.
Enjoy these classic games with clearer image quality and higher resolution than the original releases. You can also check the controls for each title and customize them to your liking. More titles will be added
Oh,
in
wow.
the future.
Bunch. Fire Emblems, Mario Sunshine, Pokemon, Strikers, Chibi Robot, Luigi's Mansion, another Pokemon.
Nintendo GameCube,
Same
Nintendo
day.
Classics, the Switch 2 exclusive game library coming to Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pack launches the same day as the hardware's release. And
What about
a
the price
dedicated
increase?
controller designed after the original GameCube controller will also be released. It can connect wirelessly and also has a C button to quickly access Game Chat.
Oh.
the Nintendo GameCube controller, exclusively available for Nintendo Switch Online members, will also be available the same day as Nintendo Switch 2.
Whether you're familiar with the games or haven't played them before, we hope you're looking forward to Nintendo GameCube, Nintendo Classics. Of course, you can continue to play select games from the systems shown here on Nintendo Switch 2. Okay, let's see some more games from our publishing and development partners.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with this one. Oh, Undertale's parallel story. Okay. Deltarune. Launch day.
Hi, I'm Randy from Gearbox. Borderlands 4, our upcoming flagship Borderlands game, will launch on Nintendo Switch 2. Borderlands is back. Loot and shoot your way through a world filled with wild enemies and outrageous weapons. We're still in development, and it's already the most ambitious
launch titles
game we've ever made.
I think a lot of these companies have been holding these back if the Switch 2 did get eternally delayed.
We'll be sharing a lot of the game in the months ahead, and there's more from 2K on the way.
Hi, I'm Dennis Shirk from Firaxis Games.
Yeah, the audio's way off. I think it must be
We're
the stream.
releasing a Nintendo Switch 2 edition of Sid Meier's Civilization 7. In Civ 7, you'll establish an empire and guide your people throughout the ages of history. With the new mouse controls, players can enjoy a more intuitive gameplay experience. Civ 7 launches on the same day as Switch 2. And if you already own the Nintendo Switch version, you can experience mouse controls on Switch 2 by purchasing the upgrade. And we have even more news from 2K.
Hi, I'm Lionel Jinks. And I'm Ben Bishop. Our final announcement for today is that WWE 2K is coming to Nintendo Switch 2.
Plus NBA 2K as well.
We can't wait to see you in the ring.
And on the court.
But not which versions, so maybe next year's.
4 kids find this old, tattered man. Off they went, armed with nothing but youthful enthusiasm and a profound lack of preparation. Boom! Terrible at steering a raft. Let's slay some trees. Awesome! You nailed it! Hook, line, and sinker.
Okay. Let's refresh that again.
Tastes amazing, doesn't it?
Lag, yeah, everybody's complaining about it in the
Really have started
chat,
after
so
this
it's on their
survival
end.
thing. Next stop,
Oh
the
no!
top. Ha! Nicely done.
That's one of the things they don't.
I think that's
They
everything.
live stream these from
Let's set
a
sail.
device rather
This time,
than
for home.
scheduling these so people on the back end of YouTube
Hi,
can't
I'm
watch them
Dave
ahead of
Crooks
time
from
and leak
Dodgeball.
everything.
Here's the first look at Enter the Gungeon 2.
Enter the Dungeon?
Dodge countless bullets and aim for the Gungeon's depths in our roguelike shooter
Dungeon.
sequel. Now reloaded in a new 3D art style. You can expect some fan-favorite elements to return. We're still working on the game, and we're excited to share more with you in the future.
Oh, this is so bad. Oh. Someone's asleep at the wheel. There we go. Oh well, now we're back at Civilization. Looks like somebody rewound the stream, but the audio's still going. Or maybe this is another one. Okay, yeah, this is a different. No? Yeah, that's what we were just singing. Wish I knew what this was. No.
Hello, my name is Adam Badowski from CD Projekt Red.
I wonder if
we are delighted to bring the immersive world of the
Japanese
dark
streams
future to Nintendo players for the first time. Cyberpunk 2077 is an open-world action-adventure RPG set in Night City. Thanks to Nintendo Switch 2, you can transport yourself to the City of Dreams at home or on the go. Get ready to meet unforgettable characters and discover engaging stories when Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition comes to Nintendo Switch 2 on launch day.
こんにちは、スクエアエニックスの浜口です。任天堂スイッチ2でファイナルファンタジー7リメイクインターグレードを発売いたします。本作はミッドガル脱出までを描いた3部作シリーズの1作目となり、20年以上の時を経て再創作された新しい FF7 を体験いただきます。スイッチ2で展開する FF7 リメイクシリーズにぜひぜひご期待ください。
Oh wait, no, that's not the live one. Hollow Knight sub-song. Okay, they got it fixed now. I'll have to look some of these up. Oh, the audio is still not. Okay, I think it's just slightly lagging. Yeah, of course, Fortnite. Oh. New Professor Layton. So will that get both versions? A Switch and a Switch 2?
We've shown a lot of games so far. The next game will be the last from our publishing and development partners. Please take a look.
Looks like a Famicom Detective. That's publishing partners, so.
I give you my blood. I give you my life.
Yeah, remake and integrated were announced for Switch 2.
And transport him to a night of moonlight. To humanity's very dusk.
looks good. Is this the Elden Ring 2 or expansion, or I'm not familiar with those products, so oh. Is it a new Nier Automata? No.
Close your eyes and contemplate now the moon, as befits the soon to depart.
I pray that you are able, carrier of blood.
Will flow for one, and one alone.
Oh. The Dusk Bloods. I believe that's new. $2026. Only available on Switch 2.
What you just saw was a brand new game by From Software. We'll be publishing a creator's voice article where the game's director, Hidetaka Miyazaki, will share more details about the game, so please check it out when it's available. That's all from our publishing and development partners. We'd like to thank the developers who appeared today, as well as our publishing and development partners who prepared footage for this presentation. In addition to what you saw today, our partners are working on many games coming to Nintendo Switch 2. We'll showcase more games in the future, so we hope you're looking forward to it. Next, please take a look at this.
That sounded like the Zelda sword almost, but nope, that's Smash. It's gonna be Smash. Ah, the audio sync's messing with my mind. No, maybe it's not Smash. Maybe it's just a new Kirby. Oh, Air Ride. Riders. Yeah, Sakurai. That's what he's been working on. 2025. So no Smash for you.
Kirby Air Ride, which originally released on the Nintendo GameCube system over 20 years ago, is getting a brand new game. We hope you're looking forward to Kirby Air Riders, directed by Masahiro Sakurai. Next is our last trailer for today. Please take a look.
Oh wow, yeah, it's almost 10 o'clock. That audio's... Not a huge presence of Microsoft like I thought there would be. This is a Donkey Kong game? I see monkeys, that's what I'm thinking. Yep. Oh, that's kind of cool. It's kind of blasted the terrain. Oh, we got some side-scrolling sections. Donkey Kong Blast? I don't know what you want to call it. Bonanza. $7.17.
That was a brand new 3D platforming action game starring Donkey Kong, called Donkey Kong Bonanza. With incredible strength, smash through enemies, walls, the ground, and just about everything as you demolish your way through a massive underground world. More details will be shared in the future. We hope you're looking forward to it.
Thank you for watching so far.
To recap, Nintendo Switch 2 launches on June 5th. Finally, here are the hardware options that will be available at launch.
There we go, SKUs.
We'll release Nintendo Switch 2, as well as a bundle that includes a digital version of Mario Kart World. For more details, please check the official Nintendo Switch 2 website, which goes live later today.
We've covered a lot of information, but that's all we have to share for today.
You'll have to wait just a bit longer for launch. We are very much looking forward to everyone being able to experience Nintendo Switch 2.
No pre-orders today.
We appreciate you joining us
today.
No
prize.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. That's... Oh, that was going to be the biggest announcement there, is that we would see the price and the pre-order information. And there's the information about the treehouse. Thank you for watching. Okay, let's switch back over here to chat and articles. I am going to real quickly see if I can pull up the UK version. Let's switch back to full screen. Let's see if we can find that section that died.
Jamboree TV by purchasing an upgrade.
カービィの新しい冒険にぜひご期待ください。
I have long observed the lands between.
Don't you get it?
I won't just stop you.
This is about where it died.
This is called Hitman World of and how each mission progresses will vary depending on the player's imagination.
This is the 007 announcement.
Featuring
Yakuza,
When the Zonai, who
Zelda.
Nintendo Switch 2.
GameCube. Okay, maybe it was further down than I thought it was.
More titles will be added
on the court.
I think it was on this game. Star Seeker. Okay, yeah, we didn't see that.
Hello, my name is Adam Badowski from CD Projekt Red. We are delighted to bring the immersive world of the dark future to Nintendo players for the first time. Cyberpunk 2077 is an open-world action-adventure RPG set in Night City. Thanks to Nintendo Switch 2, you can transport yourself to the City of Dreams at home or on the go. Get ready to meet unforgettable characters and discover engaging stories when Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition comes to Nintendo Switch 2 on launch day.
I'm not familiar with that, but the
こんにちは。
Yakuza
スクエアニックスの
Zero
浜口で
looked
す。
good. Here we go.
任天堂スイッチ2でファイナルファンタジー7リメイクインターグレードを発売いたします。本作はミッドガル脱出までを描いた3部作シリーズの1作目となり、20年以上の時を経て再創作された新しい FF7 を体験いただきます。
Cool, but I don't know if I go through and play them all
スイ
again
ッ
or
チ
not.
2で
especially
展開
integrated
する
so long.
FF7 リメイクシリーズにぜひご期待ください。
So no date. Okay, here was the sizzle reel start. Let's see, yeah. Okay, 2025. At least we have a release window of this year for Silk Song. But the internet exploded at that point. Good Point Museum, Wild Hearts. Yeah, I think this is about where it picked back up. Man, I felt like it was so much longer than that. If I have anything extra in here that we may have missed. Sometimes different regions show different things. It does not look like it. Okay, let's switch back over to this mode. I'll close that. So let's look at Nintendo.com. I imagine they've already started throwing some stuff in here. Switch to first look trailer. Okay, we've already seen that. Let me check. See if there's any other new things that have been posted. Okay, no, nothing new. Okay, so my thoughts, definitely good. They started right off the gate. Mario Kart World, got that out there. And I think that's what they needed to do is let's focus on the games. Let's look at the games first. Then we'll get into the hardware. So I want to recap first to try to see what I may have missed. So what we talked about before the stream, MouseCon was there, microphone was there, USB-C on the top and accessories, charging, all there. GameCube NSO there. I had put in my notes F-Zero, but I think I forgot to mention it. And that was there with the GameCube as well as Wind Waker. Did not see Metroid Prime 2 and 3. I thought we would see that. It wasn't even on the list of games that might come to the GameCube. So, well, of course, 3 was on the Wii. I think they're still waiting to drop that. It's supposedly done. Who knows? A new tier was not announced for NSO. It was going to be part of the expansion pack. No mention though if there's going to be a price increase for that expansion pack, so we'll see if that happens. magnetic Joy-Cons. It was interesting that the magnets are in the system and not the Joy-Cons themselves. I think that's a good idea because I thought about this in the past, that if it's in the Joy-Con, then like you lay it down and it picks up a paper clip, you know, you're less likely to lay the system down by itself and it picks stuff up, especially with the little edges and the indent. So I think doing it that way is a good bet. I think most the analysis of the shipping data indicated that there was not going to be magnets in both. So and I think the way those plates work, I forget what the principle's called, but it's supposed to kind of direct the magnetism so that it's a lot stronger than it normally would be. And it's very difficult to pull a magnet directly off of something. Generally, you have to kind of break it at an angle. So I think that'll work fine. People were worried about it, but I don't think there'll be an issue. So games, yep, there was a new Mario Kart. We did not see a remastered Zelda game, which I thought we might, and interestingly enough, we did not see Call of Duty, or really a whole lot from Microsoft that I would think of as like their big games, or maybe been some of the studios they've acquired over the years that were there that I just didn't catch, but not as big of a presence as I would have thought. So let's see, Switch 2 exclusive versus Switch 2 edition. We got that explained. Backward compatibility, that's pretty much there, what we thought. Micro SD Express, I forgot to mention that. I was following the tabs I had open and was running out of time, but I did have in my notes ahead of time that the system was going to use the Micro SD Express cards. So I keep a page open on Amazon. I'm curious now if it's let me look and see if it's gone up in price already. It was right a little over $60 for a 256 gig. Well, this is SanDisk site itself still has it for $59.99. Amazon still up, $59.99, 256 gig. So it's there for now. We'll see what happens. I have a feeling people are going to buy it, especially if it says you can't use regular anything but the SD Express. Okay, the dock. I did have a fan. That's what we thought it would. They mentioned the 4K to TV, but I don't know if they really made it very apparent that that's happening through the dock. So that'll be interesting to find out to come. They really didn't get into much about upscaling, which I didn't think they would. And they showed the headphone jacks. Of course, we did not get a price, but we did get a release date. I was slightly off. I thought maybe the 12th. I was trying to give them a little more time, but no, they're basically going 2 months out from today. I would have thought, especially since it's rumored that the release date won't be for, or the pre-orders won't be for another week, that they might have it 2 months out from that day. So okay, so now let's take a review. I may split this video up as a separate post to the channel, so I don't know, so we'll go at it like that way. So hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. And I just got through watching the Nintendo Direct about the Switch 2 and all the software. I thought I'd go over what we have here today. So if you like the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't yet, consider subscribing, as it really helps the channel out quite a bit. So we'll go through all the major announcements they had here. So first of all, they started off the Switch 2 Direct right out the gate, Mario Kart World, which I think was a great job. I don't think you need to really be showing us the hardware as much. People aren't going to get as excited about the hardware. Most people are going to be looking, especially Switch owners, are going to be looking at the games. So with Mario Kart World, they showed boats. They showed the ability to ride rails, kind of like a skateboard would. The ability to jump off of walls. I'm curious how that's going to work. That's interesting. I did see one character went into like this carrier truck and it moved them. It looks like there's going to be food in there, I guess, maybe to power you up. I'm not sure if maybe you might have a health bar, but I think it might just be like things like faster speed, those kind of things. There'll be a greater analysis of that done in the coming days, but that was just kind of first glance. Also, the race looks like you can race from various places around the world. There'll also be time of day and weather mechanics in the game, so you could be going along and it might change time of day on you as you're racing, or maybe you race all at night. You could have weather like rain or snow, maybe even. I don't know if I saw snow, but I know I saw rain. and that would end up making it a lot more difficult to power slide and go around corners if the track is slick. Okay, and then we've got the ability to drive anywhere. So it looks like it's just one big open world map, and that's to say that you would like basically drive to your next track when you're doing the cups, I guess is the way that was worded. You also would be able to have what they call a knockout tour, so you race across multiple areas. So it's like one just big continuous long running map that just runs together. I think I played a game like that recently. Oh, Daytona USA 2 that they had bundled with the latest Yakuza game. They had a mode on one of those where you could just basically go from one track to the next to the next to the next. So that's kind of cool. And it will launch with the Switch 2, which they kept. Obviously, all the partners that had to pull their videos together were probably not told the Switch 2 launch date. They're like, you know, their games are probably ready already. If the Switch 2 was delayed, like many people think it was internally, so it might end up being that they already have the games ready, and it's like, yeah, you can release it on release date, because there's a lot of them that look like it's going to be ready when the Switch 2 came out. Okay, so there's also going to be a free roam where you could just drive wherever you want or team up with people and take selfies or whatever you want to do. And they will be having a Mario Kart 2 Direct. I believe they said April 17th. That went by pretty quickly, so I tried to write that down, but it looks like it's April 17th. Then we have the mysterious C button. So they get out the gate next with the next biggest thing that everybody wants to know, which is what is the C button? And it is a game chat. I guess people are just going to probably start calling it chat, but apparently the code name inside the system for this was Campus, and Campus was kind of what I was expecting that C button to be. So you can share your screen with people as you play. It has a mic functionality to talk, and it has like noise suppression, and you don't have to be like right over top of the system. You know, it can be over in your dock and it still pick it up. So it sounds like it's got some pretty advanced technology for the microphone there. You also got thumbnails of the people you're playing against. So if you're playing Mario Kart World Online, you've got little thumbnails across the bottom showing you all the people that you're playing against and their screens, which is kind of cool. They also revealed the camera feature of the system here. So there'll be basically this pole-based camera. I don't know if there'll be an adapter that you might be able to get to be able to mount it directly onto the system. They never showed anything with that, but I would not be surprised if that becomes a possibility. You could see kind of the cable coming out the top of it. It did look like it didn't go down the pole, so I'm thinking that you would be able to take that off, put an adapter on, and then stick it into the system if you wanted to. It will be out. The camera will also be out the same day as the Switch 2, and it does say that Nintendo Switch Online and NSO subscription is going to be needed in order to use this. So I think they said at least until I believe it was March 31st, 2026. So they'll give you free reign of using it in your games, but it's like if you're playing Mario Kart Online, you kind of have to have NSO anyways to play. So maybe they're going to be giving NSO away free for a little bit in some of these games. I don't know. We'll have to see. They do mention just a general game sharing where you can share your screen with gameplay with other people. And then we get into the hardware. So 7.9 inch screen. I was hearing usually 8 inch. Some of that's kind of, 7.9 is pretty close to 8. So, but technically 7.9, 1080p, 120 frames per second. I was surprised it's a 120 hertz screen. I was expecting 60, so that's really good. I was shocked. No mention of OLED. It's pretty much LCD, unless I missed where they mentioned it. I'm pretty sure it's LCD, and the screen supports HDR as well as, of course, the system does. We already talked about earlier about the magnetic Joy-Cons. The magnet is in the Switch 2. It's not in the Joy-Cons, so that'll be interesting. I thought they might do something if they had it in the Joy-Cons where you could use it to pick stuff up. but I guess maybe that might cause too much problem. You might get debris onto the Joy-Cons and then try to attach them and it shorts something out, like if you had something across the two magnets, and it just makes more sense to put it on the system itself where it's recessed in a little bit. They do have larger SL and SR buttons. That's when you use the Joy-Con by itself as little top buttons. Didn't look like you had to have the adapter either to make it more comfortable. So there will be mouse functionality in both Joy-Cons, which I would figured it would be. It just makes sense. You have left-handed people, so they did mention some about the better speakers and 3D audio. And my experience, like if you've got a really good surround sound system, you don't have much problems with this with Nintendo's hardware. But if you've got a cheaper surround sound system that doesn't support a lot of different type of things, like the different types of Dolby surround sound stuff, I've had trouble in the past getting like the Wii U and the Switch to get surround sound working. Usually you have to use PCM uncompressed audio to get it to work at all. So I'm hoping that they support more surround sound protocols. No mention as to whether 5.1, 7.1 or whatever. So we'll just, I wouldn't expect that from Nintendo, but maybe that comes up later. I'm going to refresh this, make sure to see if they post anything new. Check out the presentation. I think that's what's scrolling across there. Nintendo's supposed to have some more stuff here eventually. So we've also got the tabletop mode, which we expect. We've already seen that. Top USB port can be used for accessories. They show the camera going into it. Also can be used for charging. You also have the system will have 256 gig storage inside of it, which that's about what I expected. I was hoping maybe they might have a different SKU listing, like a half terabyte option or something, but it does not look like they're going to have that. So that 256 should be able to run most games, but like if you have a huge Call of Duty or something that gets installed directly to that, it's going to fill up pretty fast. But that's what the SD Express cards are for. But right now the highest ones of those is 256 gigs, so I'm kind of holding off. I don't think I'll buy one of those right now. I think I'll probably wait until some larger ones come out and come down in price. So they do mention 4K for compatible games. Again, unless I missed, I'll have to go back and watch it. I don't think they mentioned that being done through the dock. It was in the process while they were talking about the dock and the fact that now you have 4K, and the fact the dock has a fan in it, which makes me think it has all the electronics in there to do the 4K upscaling. So they started getting to this Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour game, which is a paid game. I'm kind of surprised. I would have thought this would be free because it basically teaches you about your system. So I think it's a fun, innovative way to learn about the Switch 2, but I'm kind of surprised it's going to be cost something. Maybe it'll be like $9.99 or something. And it basically demos the different features of the Switch 2. So now they moved on to the Switch 2 game cards. So the new game cards will be red. No mention of whether or not there's a notch to prevent you from accidentally inserting them in the Switch 1. I don't think they'll have that. I think it's just going to be a software lockout. You hook it up, you plug it in, there'll be something in the firmware that says this game is a Switch 2 exclusive, not supported on Switch 1. I don't think they'll have a physical lockout. I did say too that the new cartridges would be faster. So I'm curious about that because I was thinking that some of the games will need to be installed in order to play at full speed, like Final Fantasy VII Intergrade. Let's see. Hey, Buck Rogers, will the new Switch 2 carts taste good? I imagine not. They'll probably taste bad. I've never actually tasted one. I thought about it just to see, but yeah, make it strawberry flavored, I guess. Maybe the other ones were dirt flavored because they're gray, and the new red ones will be strawberry. So yeah, Switch 2 carts are faster. And there was no mention of needing to install some games to get them to run at full speed. So it makes me wonder, will the Switch 2 carts be able to support full speed to be able to play the game directly off the cart. Because, you know, like with the Xbox and PlayStation, like Final Fantasy VII Integrate, you've got to install that in order to play, because it won't run directly from the disc, because it just doesn't have enough speed to do everything it needs to do to pull the data off of the drive. So I'm curious at what speed these new carts will run at, and if you'll not have to install. But I guess we'll find out as we find out more about the games. It may say so much free space required to install. You know, we'll find that out. We got to look at the Pro Controller. So the new Pro Controller does have that C button kind of on the back edge, just off, just an extension off of the shoulder button there. And there'll also be some GL and GR like paddle buttons underneath that you can program. That'll be interesting. I'm curious how much that thing is going to cost compared to the current Pro Controller. But there'll also be a headphone jack, and that's what we were just seeing the last couple of days, that there were FCC data that was doing tests with a set of Sony headphones to see like maybe what might radiate out from that. So it does not look like so it looks like there will be a headphone jack on there like we thought there would be. And then we've got the launch date, June 5th. And that was a little earlier than I expected, because I was thinking that the pre-orders were going to go up on the 9th. And so I was thinking, well, maybe the launch will be later than that, so you get 2 months out. But right now it's launching June 5th. So I got a lot of thoughts on the fact that we didn't get a price or a pre-release pre-order date. Okay, I'll pause a second, double check, make sure there's not any new news I want to add to this. Wario64 posted a Switch 2 on the My Nintendo Store FAQ. Nintendo Switch 2 on My Nintendo Store invites will go out to people who register their interest. Registration emails will be prioritized on a first come first served basis. Oh, I might need to do that right now. Register interest to buy from My Nintendo Store. I don't know if I do the bundle. Oh, there it is. There's the price. The bundle is $499.99 for Mario Kart plus Mario Kart World. $449.99. So $450 for the Switch 2 system, and $500 for the Switch 2 with Mario Kart World bundle. So you probably save a little bit about that. I'm gonna go ahead and register my interest. So we'll see how that goes. So we do have a price. I don't know why they didn't put it in there. So Switch 2, $450. Switch 2 with a bundled Mario Kart, $500 plus tax. So there we go. Let's see, Buck Rogers says that's 50 more than I thought. Yeah, I think most people were expecting the base Switch to be 400 and maybe a bundle 450, but I'm kind of not. It's one of those things I said beforehand that I thought I expected 400, but I wouldn't be surprised at 450. So, which is kind of odd, because you know you can go buy a PlayStation 5 for 500. So they're trying, I guess, to slightly undercut that. But yeah, that's kind of surprising. So yeah, if you want to check out Wario64 over on X, and I think he has a Discord and some stuff you can check out. He just sent the link if you want to register for that. A chance to purchase it from Nintendo. Double check everything here, make sure there's nothing else. Okay, so I have an Ask a Developer, Volume 16, Switch 2. Let me pull that up here in a little bit. I don't think there's, let's see. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay. Let's move on here. Sorry, I don't mean to keep slamming my drink into the microphone. It's like right where the direct path is. Okay, so Switch 2 Edition games will receive updates for Switch games. So this is like games that will have an option for both. A lot of these first ones are games that are already out. So Super Mario Party Jamboree will have an upgraded mouse controls, camera,
And one thing I thought was interesting here is the camera. It talked about a single camera, like people playing couch co-op, and the camera pulling everybody's face off of that. I thought that was kind of cool. So you're able to actually, it's able to kind of split up that and do face tracking. Let's see, Buck Rogers says memory is too low and no OLED screen. Seems like a bit of a miss to keep it at that price. Yeah, it's still a little higher. I'm kind of, like I said, I was kind of expecting 400, 450 is a little kind of like, ooh. I think a lot of people will probably still buy it, especially right at the very beginning. Another big question would be, now will the current Switch drop in price? But because like you've got the OLED already that's like 350 or 360, it depends on the version. So I guess maybe they thought just going $50 up more to Switch 2 is not going to be worth it, so let's go up 100 and now we don't have to drop the price of the Switch OLED. So I don't know. Nintendo's kind of always complained about the Switch OLED and all their investor briefings that they have less of a profit margin on the OLED model. So I guess they don't feel like they can really cut it much. Okay, so yeah, the upgrade for Super Mario Party Jamboree out July 24th. You have to purchase, and this term kept coming up, upgrade pack. So it looks like any game that has a Switch 1 version that you want the Switch 2 upgrade on it, you're going to have to purchase an upgrade pack in order to get it. And none of them said what the upgrade packs are going to cost. We'll eventually find that out. Buck Roger says, wish the Switch Lite got an OLED. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised they never did that. The Switch Lite's usually their least, at least in Japan, because I looked at the Famitsu sales, that's their least selling version, so maybe they just thought that enough people wouldn't purchase it. But I can see people wanting it as a little side system to take on the go, especially now that you got the virtual cartridge thing. I think they make that a lot better. Okay, so now we got Kirby and the Forgotten Land. There'll be an additional story, improved graphics and frame rate. So that again, upgrade pack to get that. Metroid Prime 4. Now they do say that it will have mouse controls, which is cool, because you've got that sort of first-person shooter type feel to that game. Even though it's not really a first-person shooter, you still got that first-person perspective. So mouse controls would be kind of cool for that. 4K 60 or 1080 at 120 frames per second. So you've got a performance mode or a quality mode options there. So I think I pre-ordered Metroid Prime 4 like 7 years ago when it first got announced. So actually I think I canceled that, and then I pre-ordered it when Nintendo started raising the price of all their games by $10, and well, like for Tears of the Kingdom. So I went ahead and pre-ordered it. So it's probably just going to be the Switch version. So I'm probably going to have to cancel that and change it to the Switch 2 pre-order. But anyway, Pokemon Legends AZ will have an enhanced resolution and frame rate, and then they listed several others. I didn't get a list of all of them there, but that's something you can go back and look and get that list. It showed Drag and Drive. I want to say Drag and Drive or Drag X Drive. It's like this mouse control wheelchair game where you're having to like move the wheelchair with each Joy-Con, and that. I mean, some people might enjoy that. It's not going to be my thing. It looked neat. It'd be fun to like borrow from someone and try, but I'm probably not going to buy that. It seems a little gimmicky using the mouse controls, but it might be something they put in for like $19.99 or something. Well, let's basically it'll be $29.99. But and then I started going through and trying to write down all the third-party stuff, and I didn't get all the sizzle reel stuff because that was about the time that the stream crashed. And so, but we have Elden Ring Tarnished Edition 2025, Hades 2, and they just said more info later. Street Fighter 6 supports local wireless and amiibos, and it went by so fast I think it looked like it included all the characters that are already out, but I'll have to double check on that. I always mispronounce this one. Daemon X Machina, September 5th. Split Fiction is going to be out on release day of the Switch 2. EA Sports FC and NFL, Madden NFL will be coming, but they didn't say what date, just that it's coming or which version. And then they have a Hogwarts Legacy that's a Switch 2 version, which looks basically a lot more like, say, the Xbox and PlayStation versions.
instead of the really stripped down version. I didn't see any mention about whether there'd be an upgrade for that one. So if you bought the current one, if you can pay the upgrade to get the new one. I have a feeling it's going to be a completely separate version. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4 sometime this summer. Hitman World of Assassination Signature Edition will be available at launch. Project 007 sometime soon. Really didn't get much information. I have a feeling that's going to be, that might be like a 2026 or 2027 even. Bravely Default Flying Fairy. So this is the original Bravely Default brought to the Switch. I wish they would have brought Bravely Default 2 because I have it for the DS, or I guess 3DS. I can't remember if it's DS or 3DS, and I don't want to play it there. I would rather wait to get a remaster. So, but that's cool. I could play back through that game again. Those are great games. Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. So this is another Warriors game based on the Zelda property, and it's going to be a prequel to Tears of the Kingdom, and it's supposed to be out sometime this winter. So I think this might be your, your early December game, but winter could mean all the way up until like March of 2026. So whether or not it makes it out for the Christmas season, I don't know, but just hoping. Let's see. So NSO, they finally added GameCube games like we thought they would. We've been seeing that GameCube controller in the custom shipping data, and all was being seen at the same time for Switch 2 parts. So that's definitely going to be a welcomed addition, and there's not going to be any new tiers for this. It looks like it's going to be part of the expansion pack. No mention as to if the expansion pack is going to cost more money now. I would not be surprised to see that go up in price. And they may really have a Switch 2 version. If you want Switch 2 functionality, then you're going to have to add that on, but we'll see how that goes. But they did show Wind Waker, Soul Calibur 2, which I love that game. Like I said during the stream, I used to just grab people with Link and throw them out the ring. So as soon as the fight would start, I'd just back up, get right to the edge, and then jump forward, grab them, throw them out. And that was about the only way I could beat a lot of the enemies on that. F-Zero GX, which I actually just played a couple weeks ago. I pulled up my GameCube and tried it because I had not played it originally on the GameCube, and it's a good racer. They do say, like the current NSO games, you got 4-player local and online. So I could see like Soul Calibur 2 or F-Zero, a lot of people playing that online. And the GameCube controller will have that extra C button on it, and it like the other controllers for NSO systems, like the Super Nintendo and the NES and the Nintendo 64, it'll be exclusive to NSO members. So that'll go up, and you'll want to grab it as quickly as you possibly can if you're wanting that. I've actually got a couple of GameCube style controllers already. Oh, here we go. The Switch 2 Pro controller will be $80. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Let's see if there's any other news here. Mario Kart World will be $80. Wow. So they're just skipping right over 70 and going to 80 for their games. Wow, that's actually that's surprising that they're doing an $80. So will that mean that all the games now will be $80 by default? Like your AAA games are going to be $80? It appears so. Especially if Mario Kart is that, your big Mario games, in which we didn't get a big Mario game, so there's no big Mario game coming. At least not what we've seen here so far. Let's see, Buck Rogers says $80 is just insane. Plus, Nintendo doesn't put games on sale. Yeah, very, very rarely. Their sale is $10 off. $10 off on the digital version. There you go. Okay. Just wanted to keep up with if any pre-order information comes up. I can get that in here. Let's see if they've got anything on their site now.
Let's see, My Nintendo Store. What do they got? Switch 2, learn more, register your interest. Okay, so here's that. Anybody's interested in this, I'll drop it in the chat real quick. So if you're interested in at least registering, you probably have to have, well, no, yeah, you probably have to have an account. Yeah, please sign in. So you'd have to have an account if you're wanting to at least express interest to pre-order through Nintendo, which you'll probably get 3 days after the system releases. That's been my experience with ordering things from the Nintendo Store. Okay, where were we? Okay, so back into some of the games. We have Deltarune launch day. I think that was same people that did oh gosh, my mind is blanking. Elden Ring, there we go. So that says that that'll be available launch day. Borderlands 4 available at launch. Civilization 7 with mouse controls at launch. Another no version listed for WWE 2K and NBA 2K, just that they're coming. So I imagine that's going to be like probably 2K26 and not 25s. Enter the Gungeon 2, I think is what that said. This is when it blanked out, so I was trying to go off the audio and write some of this down. Cyberpunk 2077 is coming, and then of course they finally showed Hollow Knight Silksong 2025. So we've got a release year that's finally going to come out. And then they did a whole bunch of sizzle reel. I didn't write all those down because when their system was crashing. And we also got the Dusk Bloods 2026, and that'll be a Switch 2 exclusive. And Sakurai's been working on Kirby Air Riders 2025. I never played the original Kirby Air Rider. I was not a big Kirby fan back then, but I liked some of them, so I may check that out when it comes available. Then we have Donkey Kong Bonanza. So this looks to be the big Donkey Kong game that we have been hearing about for years now. There's a Donkey Kong game coming. It's coming, and finally we get it, and it's this game looks to be a Switch 2 exclusive most likely, but I don't know, we'll have to wait and see. But it looks like you could blast through the different terrains, just beat it up. It had mostly 3D, but there was some side scrolling sections. I imagine those might be like sort of mini sections, like maybe you go down a pipe, like we would in Mario would be a pipe in here, but you go down a hole and you got a little side section where you side scroll and go through. A little throwback to the old Donkey Kong Country games. And this will be available July 17th, so just a few weeks after the Switch 2 launches. And then just the last note I have on here, Switch 2 with Mario Kart World Digital will be available, which has already been seen on that place where I had to register that I sent in the link to right here. They show the Mario Kart Tour. What's interesting, you don't get the price here until you sign in. I signed in on my phone where I went ahead and put in to try to get this main system, but it's interesting they did not put a please sign in, or did not put the price until you sign in. So yeah, kind of interesting. I wonder if I can, let's take a look here. Yeah, I still put Twitter, not X. I think I can go straight in without logging in. Yeah. The Wario 64 is where I see most of this stuff. Oh, that's old. Why am I seeing posts from 2023? Maybe nothing new comes up. Well, that has 19th. Yeah. I've not looked at it when not logged in, so that's kind of weird. Trying to see if there was anything special in here, but that's not helping me any. Okay. So I think that's about it. I haven't seen anything else pop up yet. about pre-ordering from anybody else. It's interesting. Nintendo just has you can get the possibility to pre-order it from us, but not actually make the, oh, here's the ask the developer stuff. Oh wow, these are pretty long. I have 2 parts here. So it's been translated from Japanese. Let's see, providing new and unprecedented gameplay experiences. Okay, I'll go into the introductions. This is jump to the first question. Will Nintendo's first dedicated gaming console in 8 years since the Switch, or it is the one since the Switch. When did you begin development on the Switch 2? And how does the development of a game console start? I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of information. Development even before 2019. Okay. And then the next one, what kind of things specifically do you consider during the seed sowing stage that precedes the hardware development? Yeah, this is more insider stuff. I don't think we're going to find out like anything new in this. See, so you increase the processing capability to allow new kinds of gameplay experiences to be created. Looking back at Nintendo's past consoles, I think many people would expect to see something more unconventional, much like the Wii and the DS, to have control schemes unique to Nintendo. During the development of Switch 2, are there any discussions about taking a similar approach? Yeah, I thought that was interesting. You know, the Switch 2 is not like, it's an iteration. It's not this new groundbreaking thing. Let's see. Just kind of scanning through this. I don't think there's, again, a whole lot of information. Okay, there have been cases such as the Ring Con for the Ring Fit Adventure, where we offered a unique experience by including an accessory with the game, and it was well received by players. So we wondered whether Switch 2 would really need a new hardware feature. So basically saying they can add accessories, and we don't actually have to put the new feature into the Switch 2. Yeah, so Switch 2 serves as a base. Okay, what is the part 2? Let's see, what was the question? Now that we've discussed the direction you took when developing the Switch 2, which elements specifically have been enhanced? Okay, larger screen. Not only the screen is larger, but also allows for higher resolution and visuals, more vivid, has a smoother display, especially at 120 Hz. Let's see, as a side note, the tech savvy among you might already be aware, but Nintendo has always developed each new gaming system with a focus on its system's memory capacity. This time we're particularly aggressive in pursuing increased memory size. Aside from the processor, there's also been an LCD screen, so that's confirmed. Internal memory and storage, which they don't say how much it was. I think from that shipping data, it looked like there was 12 gigs of LPDDR. There's a 2.6 gig chips, which they say is better than, in essence, considering overhead is better than what the Xbox Series S has. Battery life is another issue. Let's see. A large system consumes a lot of power, which reduces battery life. However, we were finding that balance also needed to keep in mind that people will be playing it on the go. We made various efforts to ensure the battery life wouldn't be reduced significantly, such as increasing the battery capacity to 1.2 times that of the Switch. Yeah, so like when the revised Switch, what they call the red box Switch, came out, it got better battery life because it had a processor that ran on lower power, and then they basically underclocked it. So
I imagine too they'll do a similar thing here in the fact that like when you're in handheld mode, it's going to be clocked down to save battery. Let's see. Yeah, does say Switch 2 games will have a larger file size in order to load data, write smoothly, processing game a certain amount of access speed is needed. For example, in Mario Kart World, the player can drive their kart freely around the world, but of course their destination needs to be visible. Therefore, it's necessary to use a micro SD express card with faster transfer speeds rather than micro SD than a micro SD card, which was used until now, so that the large amount of data can be read in advance and rendered quickly. But since Switch 2 has 256 gigs of built-in storage, I doubt most people will need the micro SD card immediately, express card immediately after buying the system, which is kind of what I was thinking too. Now this does say because yeah, they don't say anything here about, or he didn't mention anything about the Switch 2 carts being faster, even though it did say that in the video. But it does make me wonder, are certain things going to have to be installed to run? Let's see. Okay, so the question, so you struck a balance by ensuring the essential elements in terms of a home video game system that's also portable, while increasing the processing power as much as possible. We've discussed the system's performance, but how about the Joy-Con controllers, which are symbolic of the Switch? Did you make changes or enhancements to them? Okay, so they do talk about like the different sizes. They couldn't just simply stretch it, so they've had to kind of change, I think, the sweeping of the Joy-Cons. You can see on the left, the red one, the old one, how it's a little sharper, but on the right it kind of slopes more. Let's see, what else do they have here? Yeah, it's kind of, speaking of Joy-Con controllers, this time they attach to the console magnetically. Yep. I think they said they wanted to do this originally, but unfortunately the Joy-Con controllers would wobble when attached to the console using magnets due to weak connection. We decided to scrap the idea as we were concerned it would make customers uneasy about using the console. Instead, we adopted the rail system for the Switch, which allowed for a more stable attachment, but we always wished we could make it easier to attach and detach the controllers. Yeah, and I think by the way it inserts into the side of the system, and it looks like there was like little notches on the Joy-Cons themselves, like little paddings that probably helped to kind of make it a little more snug. We'll be curious how wiggly they'll be. Let's see. Yeah, we need the controllers to attach firmly to the console so that they won't wobble. At the same time, we wanted it to be easy to detach and comfortable to attach, even for children. And so we asked the technology development hardware team the impossible, but they went through a lot of trial and error, and we were finally able to attach it firmly and remove it easily with just a light press of a release button. Oh, I got a little video here demonstrating it. Okay. Cool. Yeah. We originally chose to incorporate magnets for their functionality and convenience, but in the end, everyone on the technology development team fine-tuned it right down to the satisfying snap feeling that when you attach the controllers to your console. Well, now they show it sounds like a clap, but anyways, I think this has become the key element that symbolizes Nintendo Switch 2. You'll only get a proper sense of it once it's in your hands. Yep. Let's see. So you've been nurturing this idea since the development of the Switch. Must have been passionate. Yeah. Well, we need to read through all this and then talk about the different games here. The Nintendo Switch plan. Okay. Nintendo Switch game plan for release in 2025. A completely new entry in the Metroid Prime series. Play as Samus Aran and explore spawning world. Okay, that's just about those games. Okay, indeed, games that use touch controls in handheld mode are difficult to control in a TV mode. With a mouse, it seems easier to ensure a consistent gameplay experience between both modes. Yeah, speaking as developer, it's a great option to have. There's another look at the Pro Controller. There's the little GL and GR buttons and audio jack. Players can assign any input buttons that they want to these two new buttons. I'm assuming if you've got a Pro Controller for the Switch, it'll work with the Switch 2 as well, because these you can assign those buttons. They're not required. Cool. So that's pretty much. Oh, they've got a part 3 and a part 4. Let's see. I'm just gonna scan through the rest of these and go ahead and wrap it up here. And let's talk about the microphone, camera. Just trying to see if I had any good videos or images that might go along with any of this. Yeah, that was one thing that I forgot to mention before. The Clubhouse games will be supporting that, like a local play. So as long as both people have a Switch, they can play the game on their own screens against each other. I probably need a little more explanation about how all that will end up working, because it sounded like you both had to have the game to play it, and not necessarily just one of you being able to play. It kind of defeats the purpose. So hopefully you could just have one copy of the game and you can all play together. Like the DS and 3DS had some of that, where there's some games like Mario Kart 7, you could, if you both had the game, you could just play through the whole cups and everything. But if only one person had it, I think you could just play like one race at a time, because it has to basically download the whole section of the game for you to be able to play it wirelessly. But it sounds like if they could just use a screen, like mirror type thing, then that would be better. Hey, Chris. Chris says, hey, this Marvel game, will it be in physical form? I think so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they'll have a physical version for that. I've not seen anything saying it's not going to. And they did have that, I believe, in the sizzle reel for the Switch 2. So it sounds like there'll be a Switch 2 version as well. I'm curious if they end up having to wait for it, because we don't have a release date for either one, so they're probably coming out at the same time. And I'd be curious like what the differences will be. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, this is the game recommendations. Yeah, I don't see much. Yeah, this looks more of an ad. I don't think there's anything else. Let's see what this is. Part 4. Do we have a part 5? No, I think that's the end of it. Cool. All right. Hey, Chris says, thanks, man. Good show. Appreciate you. Thank you. Appreciate you watching. Make sure you hit the like and button on the way out. I said I may cut this part as a separate video, though I may just leave it up like this. I gotta do a lot of other stuff today, so I did take the day off of work so I could do this. First time, like I said, ever doing an event like this and actually getting on camera. I'm not much of a on-camera type person, but I thought I'd give it a try and see how it goes. You would not believe what my office looks like for me to have this set up. So, at any rate, I think I'm going to go ahead and call it quits for today. So, thanks for watching. Thanks for checking this out. I'm real excited about the Switch 2. and I'll try to keep up to date and do some videos in the next coming weeks as we learn stuff. It's probably going to be coming out so much faster than I can make videos for, because work's been incredibly busy. Sometimes if my work is quieter, then I can kind of research some of this stuff and then do videos later, but because it's so busy, I just don't have, oh, we have Donkey Kong in here. Yeah, and find out more about the game. Only on Nintendo Switch 2. So, all right, well, again, I want to thank you all for joining. I'm going to go ahead and check out of here, and until next time, be good.